Hello, my friends. Today, the situation on the front continues to worsen. Let's start with the Pokrovsk direction, where Russian forces are showing the highest activity, over 60 assaults in the past 24 hours. Today, they continue their attempts to break through on the outskirts of Pokrovsk, storming Chunishine, Udachne, and Lysivka, pushing toward the outskirts of Myrnograd, advancing toward Malinivka, and assaulting Yelizavetivka. Despite Ukrainian statements that Russian forces are struggling to break through here, we have already seen them achieve some success in this area. Now they're intensifying the assaults, trying to push further toward the highway. The situation remains critical, but for now, the front line hasn't changed in the past 24 hours and heavy battles continue. In the Kurakhove direction, Russian forces are doing everything possible to encircle Ukrainian troops. They are storming Andriivka, Ulakli, and Constantinople, advancing near the village of Bogatyr, and intense battles continue for Dachne. Fighting is also ongoing for Novoandriivka, and they are trying to break through toward Kotlerivka. However, despite their high level of activity, the Ukrainian forces continue to hold the defense and haven't withdrawn from the encirclement. Over the past 24 hours, the front line remains unchanged. In the Velyka Novosilka area, Russian forces are storming Novopil and Novosilka. Shalin is also being reported, but there have been no territorial changes in the past 24 hours. In the Zaporizhzhia direction, Russian troops are attacking near Robotyne with ongoing shelling in the area. However, as before, there have been no significant changes, and the Ukrainian forces continue to successfully repel all attacks. In the Kherson direction, the situation is worsening. In recent days, Russian forces have made significant advances toward the right bank and are now attempting to launch assaults and cross the river. So far, the Ukrainian forces have successfully repelled all attacks, and crossing the river remains extremely difficult for Russian troops. However, their activity is not decreasing. In the Toretsk direction, Russian forces are attempting to break through near Toretsk. However, they haven't achieved any new successes, and the activity remains relatively low for now. In the Chasiv Yar direction, Russian forces are advancing into the central part of the city, storming Stupochki and pushing through the fields near Pretechene. They are also continuing attempts to advance through the fields toward Bilahora. However, despite ongoing battles, the front line has remained unchanged over the past 24 hours. In the Siversk direction, Russian troops are assaulting Bilohorivka and Verkhnyokamyansk while trying to break through from Spirne. However, as before, they haven't achieved any new successes and the front line remains stable. In the Lyman direction, Russian forces have made further gains, expanding their controlled territory. Unfortunately, they have managed to break through to Zelená Dolyna and the village of Kolodiazi, which they are now attempting to storm. Battles for Yampolivka are ongoing, but there have been no new advances in the past 24 hours. The Ukrainian forces are working to halt their progress and prevent them from advancing closer to Liman. In the Borova direction, Russian troops are pushing toward Boguslavka, assaulting Nova Kruhlякivka, and attempting to break through near Lozova. Further south, battles are ongoing for Novoyegorivka, with attacks reported near Makiivka and advancing through the fields toward Novomykhailivka. However, despite high Russian activity, there have been no confirmed territorial changes so far. In the Kupiansk direction, Russian forces continue storming Petropavlivka and launching attacks near Pishane. Otherwise, there have been no territorial changes. However, a serious setback occurred near Dvorichna. Despite months of relatively low combat activity in this area, Russian forces rapidly broke through in just a few days, encircling Dvorichna and eventually capturing the settlement. They have even managed to expand their controlled territory in the surrounding fields. The situation here is highly concerning, but we await further developments. In the Kharkiv direction, Russian forces continue shelling, but no offensive actions have been recorded. Meanwhile, in Vovchansk, attacks persist, yet Ukrainian forces are holding the line and the front line remains unchanged. In the Kursk direction, Russian forces continue the attacks, but they haven't made any advances. Additionally, North Korean troops have been withdrawn from the combat zone, leading to a significant decrease in activity. The front line has remained unchanged over the past 24 hours. Meanwhile, reports indicate that Russian forces have struck a school in Sudzha where civilians were present.
Today, February 1st, 2025, at 17:54, Russian armed forces carried out a strike on a boarding school in the city of Sudzha. 95 people were trapped under the rubble. Moans and cries for help can be heard from beneath the debris. Most of those inside were elderly or bedridden individuals.
However, Russian military correspondents following Putin's narrative are blaming Ukraine for the attack. Regarding the missile strike on Sudzha and the death of our civilians, my position may not be popular today, but I will not accuse anyone without an investigation and a court ruling. However, I don't recall our forces ever committing such an atrocity. On the contrary, we have seen a series of war crimes with witness testimonies and confessions pointing directly to the Ukrainian forces. As usual, the usual blame game continues. Meanwhile, foreign media are warning that Putin has no intention of ending the war. Putin is not planning to end the war. Right now, Russia's military command is preparing new long-term offensive operations, writes Newsweek. According to the Institute for the Study of War, Russian military planning includes operations that could take up to 9 months, indicating that Putin doesn't intend to stop hostilities in Ukraine anytime soon. The Washington-based think tank notes that Russia's strategy to encircle the Kharkiv city of Kupiansk is an example of this long-term planning. The capture of Avdiivka in February 2024 is likely to serve as a model for future Russian encirclements of frontline cities, which will proceed gradually over time. This suggests that Russian forces will continue their methodical, slow-paced approach to capturing settlements. There is some truth to this assessment. As we are now witnessing Russian troops pushing aggressively from Toretsk toward Konstantinivka, while also attempting to advance from Chasiv Yar. They know that capturing Konstantinivka will not be quick. Yet, Putin is still committing massive reserves to move toward the city. Despite taking Toretsk, he hasn't halted his offensive, suggesting that he has plans for many more cities. However, it's also likely that he is uncertain about how negotiations under Trump's leadership will unfold. So while he still has time, he is trying to seize as much territory as possible. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments. And that's all from me. So please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.